This is a podcast based on a blog of the same name, because once more with feeling. Am I right? Of course I am. My name is Kylie and I love TV. If you feel the same, keep listening and or checking out the blog at couchpotatoesunite.wordpress.com, as you're bound to find some common ground or something you like. For at Couch Potatoes Unite, we're all about the wonders and the unique long-form storytelling of the small screen. CPU, ! Hopes you've been following releases of brand new episodes of the podcast on Wednesdays, as well as new blog entries on some Tuesdays, and as always, we have several more new episodes on the way. Because the panelists and I live lives behind our podcast, the episodes are published once per week. Subscribe to the blog or the podcast via iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and via Google Play to stay on top of brand new episodes. Episodes already published discuss a variety of shows around the water cooler, including but not limited to Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, Grimm, How to Get Away with Murder, Gotham, Once Upon a Time, Supernatural, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and the Marvel's Netflix series, including Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. We've published several multi-part Looking Back to Look Forward series, including The X-Files from its inception through its revival, our Fuller House series, our American Horror Story series, and our Gilmore Girls Life series, plus new episodes are in the works, including revisits for New Girl, The 100, Doctor Who, Orange is the New Black, and the Originals, a final visit with our Vampire Diaries panel to say goodbye to the long-running series in a 2-part episode, a final visit with our Broadchurch panel to say goodbye to the mystery drama from across the pond. We'll be launching a new panel covering Lemony Snicket's unfortunate events. What's more, we've been live from the bunker, from Comedy Outlet Mondays, and from Grand Rapids Comic-Con. And we're not done yet. We have more live appearances and other cool stuff being planned, so make sure you like us at our Facebook page, our Twitter, follow us at CPU Podcast, our Instagram at Couch Potatoes Unite, and or our Pinterest at CPU Podcast, or subscribe to the blog, our YouTube channel, our iTunes channel, our Stitcher Radio channel, or find us on Google Play. In the meantime, if you don't hear your show in this podcast format, fellow panelists and I still write reviews, and we're always seeking new panelists. So if you have any interest in joining the discussion, say hello by finding us at any of those outlets I've mentioned. At the very least, stop by and leave us a thumbs-up, comment, or review. We like feedback, but keep your fangs and bumpy foreheads firmly in holster, please. Today's panel and I are continuing a Looking Back series launched in honor of the 20th anniversary of one of our all-time favorite shows. This Looking Back series, in fact, covers the universe of 2 shows, the primary and the spin-off, a universe that I think it's safe to say, and have been saying, we all love dearly and or hold very close to our TV-loving hearts. As such, this is the 4th of 5 CPU episode discussions in which we will be reflecting upon this cult favorite pair of shows that have only gained more traction and fan following as time has passed. The shows in question, they are, of course, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and its spin-off Angel. Today, in our 4th episode of the series, we will be discussing Seasons 6 and 7, the last 2 seasons of Buffy. To remind the listener, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is an American television series created by Joss Whedon under production tag Mutant Enemy Productions, which premiered on March 10th, 1997 on the WB and ended on May 20th, 2003 on UPN. In fact, we're talking about the UPN years today. The series narrative follows Buffy Summers, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, the latest in a line of young women known as Vampire Slayers, or simply Slayers. In the story, Slayers are called, or chosen by fate, to battle against vampires, demons, and other forces of darkness. As a young woman, Buffy wants to live a normal life, but as the series progresses, she learns to embrace her destiny. The Slayer's mystical calling endows her with powers that dramatically increase physical strength, endurance, agility, accelerated healing, intuition, and a limited degree of clairvoyance, usually in the form of prophetic dreams. For a more detailed plot summary and or to read or hear other entries in the series, check out the blog. If you didn't already know, you can click the floating box at the top right of the header, the picture with the TV watcher, and search for any blog entry or prior podcast episode. One of those perks of modern technology. In the meantime, today in this fourth part of our 5-part discussion, our robust panel of Whedon scholars, all familiar CPU voices, namely Nick, Sarah, Kallie, and Kyle, will talk about the finer and less fine points of the Buffy-Verse in another chapter of our Looking Back podcast episodes, wherein we review a show that has been gone, either via natural end or cancellation for some time. In this episode, as I said, we'll be focusing specifically on seasons 6 and 7 of Buffy, covering the series in its final seasons and its march toward what would be its then finish line. It should be noted that all of our panelists have viewed the entire series and will, let's face it, discuss sensitive plot points. So for those of you who haven't watched Buffy, first, rectify that as soon as you are possibly able to do. And second, listen at your own risk as there are going to be major spoilers. Welcome back, panel. How are you?
Great.
Good dream, guys. We're living the dream.
Yay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're living the dream. Is it a prophetic dream?
I don't know. I don't have a headache, so I think we're good.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Well, welcome back to everybody. We don't really do the character question in these revisits. Do you remember what you picked, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So remind Nick.
How many did
very
you...
convincing.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think this was
No,
one
I
of the
don't
ones.
remember.
You picked multiple again
Oh,
on
yeah.
this one. Yeah.
Stop it.
That was wife Sarah rolling her eyes in a significant way. Think about it for a second. I didn't prepare you with this question, did I?
No.
But that's the character question.
I remember who I am.
Giles.
You were Giles, actually, partially.
I'll stay with that.
Okay.
I'll just stick
Was
with
I
Giles.
Angel? Or...
You were Angel.
I was Angel on this and on the Angel podcast. I was also Angel.
I think so.
Man.
I hate you guys.
Kallie.
Kallie is Buffy.
Yeah,
Buffy.
Kallie was Buffy.
All the
You're
way.
Kallie.
I don't remember what I was.
I think you were Giles.
I think so too.
I thought you were Faith.
Yeah.
That's not an option, so therefore...
I think
no.
you were Dawn.
Oh, that's just hurtful.
That was the last one. You couldn't possibly have picked it. And I was a Buffy, and I'm still a Buffy. So today we're talking about season 6 and 7, which I'm very excited about. Well, halfway anyway. These are the final 2 seasons of Buffy, and they are somewhat divisive seasons. Controversial, if you will. Some people really like season 6. Some people really don't like season 6. Some people really like season 7. Some people really don't like season 7. So we get to talk about where you fall on that spectrum. And just to remind the listener, this is not one of our normal water cooler discussions. We are talking about episodes that stood out to us, either ones we liked or ones we didn't like through the course of these 2 seasons. But we're also talking about the seasons in general. So who would like to start that piece of it?
Why don't we start at the first 2 episodes, the 2-parter, where they bring Buffy back from the dead.
Bargaining parts 1 and 2. Yes, because as of the gift, she had jumped into a dimensional rift and presumably died.
Mm-hmm.
Should
There was
we...
a controversy over presumably.
Should we maybe start by explaining why it didn't stop when it was going to stop?
What stuff?
The show.
That was supposed to be the end of the show?
Yeah, where season 5 was supposed to be the end, but then it got picked up.
It did, because they started a new network. Yeah. And even though the WB network runner at the time was ready to kick it to the curb, UPN, or United Paramount Network, was looking for something to launch it, to give it sort of a, whatever you call that, sort of mainstay...
Built-in fan base. They're
fan
trying to carry
base,
it
but
over.
also viewers, yeah, just to get people to actually watch the network. And so they picked up Buffy.
And you can't have Buffy really without Buffy. Right?
No.
No.
I mean, is
you
Angel
can't.
Buffy without Buffy? No.
No.
It's Angel.
It's Angel with Angel.
Yeah.
But
You can't have it without Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Right. So
They had the Buffy bot.
So
Did not know.
yeah, she was Buffy bot.
That was actually in the 5th season, though.
No,
Although they
that's
brought her back.
Yeah,
They
in the
brought-
first 2 episodes.
Yeah, in the first 2, because Buffy's dead, they don't want anyone to know yet.
Right.
Because they don't want Dawn to get, like, put in a foster home or whatever, so the Buffy bot is acting like Buffy and, like, going to Parent Day and stuff.
It's true. So talk about this season. So we'll just start with season 6.
Yeah.
Season 6 being the very first one on UPN. And just to remind the listener, the way we've been kind of delineating the Buffy seasons is usually by big bad and major relationship changes. And the big bad in season 6, there were 2 of them. The first was the trio, which were the 3 nerds, Warren, Andrew, Jonathan, and then Dark Willow. Even though she was really the last 3 episodes, it all culminated in Willow turning evil for a minute.
They were an interesting big bad. I enjoyed them from a comical standpoint. They were kind of bumbling.
That's kind of what interested me about them is they start them off as so goofy, but then they take them into some really dark place, like darker than some of the actual evil villains because they're human. And so it really makes the stuff that they do stand out.
Yeah.
My problem with them is I feel like Buffy should have been able to
Easily,
handle them
And by this
easier.
point, she should have easily... Like, they kept, finding ways around that of her not knowing they were behind anything. Which then it felt like... It was kind of, taken away from Buffy's intelligence.
Yeah.
But it wasn't... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I almost wonder if it's because to her they're just human. And she's like... To me, it was almost like she was just brushing them off. Like, oh, there they go again with their stupid things that they're doing and jetpacks and weird,
But they did do some terrible stuff.
But I don't know.
But she can't stake them.
One of them was more evil than the other 2.
Warren.
And, Jonathan especially, I think, was like, we can't do this. But then, Warren was like, you're in it now. You helped kill... whatever. I can't remember what episode of what went down. But then they were like, oh, guess we're in it.
Honestly, this is one of the major critiques or controversies of season 6 is the fact that the trio was kind of, to some, anticlimactic compared to Glory, who was basically a demigod. But the way that I do find the trio compelling, and almost sort of a weird foretelling way. I mean, look at society nowadays and look at Warren and our political climate and all of that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of parallels there. But I think they're able to explain it away because Buffy is literally so distracted by, the whole coming back from death thing is a huge thing for her, which they explore quite heavily in the first half of the season. And I think she's so, I'm going to use the word self-involved. Not that she really is. She's still the Slayer and she still does her Slayer stuff.
She's just going through the motions.
She's going through the motions.
And that's and so I feel like part of that was I don't know if I care. I'm back and it's weird and whatever, they're doing their thing and it's fine. And I'm just going to go about my business and do what it is. And I think she absolutely was self-involved. Mm-hmm. Understandably so.
And I don't think they even put together at first that the trio were behind some of the happenstances until later in the season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then it became an annoyance for them.
I'm rereading on Wikipedia. Warren, I forgot how he tried to rape his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what I was like. When I was watching that episode, I was like, this is taking a horrible turn. Like, I couldn't believe they were going there.
It was kind of comical in the 5th season, making the Buffy bop, but kind of gross. Like, come on, what was he going to use that for? But kind of almost like,
yeah, but Spike asked him for that. He made the girlfriend
He made the
first.
girlfriend bot, yeah. Mm-hmm. But this got next level dark. Like, he got...
What episode was that? How early?
The raping thing?
Yeah.
It was pretty early, because then they needed to frame Buffy for her murder.
And they put her, Buffy, in a loop, right? And that was Warren, who killed his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. And then they
tricked Buffy into thinking that she did it.
Yeah.
I don't...
And that was early.
Yeah.
It was fairly early.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was some bad stuff. It was Warren. Warren's real bad. Not good.
He's misogynistic, like you said, Kyle, human, so... Mm-hmm. It makes him almost scarier in some ways than some of their other supernatural big bads.
Yeah, the supervillain guys agree that hypnotizing and making Buffy their willing love slave is a priority. Gross.
They're nerds. Yeah. Most likely virgins, except for Warren, maybe. So they do things.
Poor like Jonathan. That. He could have been a good guy. He just went the wrong way.
He fell in with a bad crowd.
He did, guys.
And Andrew Tucker's brother is so easily led.
Yeah.
That's
what happened with them. They're followers, and they followed Warren.
That's
and they
right.
should not have.
I'm not seeing the rapey episode yet. I am looking. I'm sorry.
I feel like... Are we sure that wasn't season 5? Because
that's season 6.
Because I Was Made to Love You.
What, Nick? Nick looked like he wanted to say something.
Nick can say anything he wants.
How important is it that we know what episode?
I was just wondering if it was early on or later.
It's earlier.
That's what I thought was earlier.
I'm pretty sure it's before the musical episode. I just don't know which one of them it is.
It's Dead Things, episode 13.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
is
it's
it?
after the musical episode. Thank you. I was on 8.
What
so
are the
you...
dead things if it's a robot?
It's his
story?
ex-girlfriend, Katrina, that he brainwashes,
Oh,
and then
that's right.
she realizes what she's doing to them, and they kill her.
Right.
It's dark, y'all.
It gets darker.
I like that.
This season is very dark.
It is very dark, and I like it. I think it was.
I mean, you know that, like, things are terrible, but when it gets real terrible, like, vampires, and that's terrible, but when we get rapey, I get real upset.
I know you do.
And it happens several times during the season for several different characters, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Spike getting rapey. Is
Yeah.
that this season too?
Oh gosh, I struggled there. But it's
So did I.
realistic. It's realistic.
And then it's like, it's kind of like crazy because it's like, you know, he doesn't have a soul and he doesn't know any better. But it's still disturbing. You love the character.
You want them to be together.
Exactly, but
It
not
builds.
like that.
Yeah.
It builds in this season, and then that happens, and you're like, why'd you do this to us, Spike?
Yeah, especially because like he's so strong in the first episodes where like her friends aren't noticing how damaged she is,
Yeah.
but he's there for her and he's like he understands. So like they start that relationship off really great, and then they take it to that horrible
Really dark
place.
level.
Yeah, like he was protecting Dawn, and
But it's that horribly dark place that motivates him to his next choice, which is to go get his soul. His soul back, specifically.
because he had the chip in, right?
He had the chip in, but it stopped working.
It malfunctioned. She took him, and then we saw Riley again, and he was like, "I'm gonna help you." And okay,
Yeah.
And he figured out that it stopped working because he hit Buffy, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, I shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, it was a chain of events, and I think this is one of the best. Season 6 is one of my favorite seasons. I've said that.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
one of
other
my
ones.
favorites, but it also has some of like the things I hate the most out of like all of Buffy. So it's like I'm very conflicted about it because it runs the gamut of really good and then really weird choices.
I guess I feel that more strongly probably about other seasons, but I guess where I'm looking at it for season 6 is that Spike's journey and sort of his parallel to Angel is set up very well in this season, and you see it from a beginning, middle, and end standpoint. It's really uncomfortable to watch the going to be sexual assault of Buffy. Attempted, but at the same time, there is a character payoff.
It's an arc.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love, but then I also like Xander as a character, and I hate his entire arc of him and Anya falling apart.
I agree with that.
I hate
that
I
was
hate
not okay.
Why did they do? Why?
Because
wasn't-
Joss
that
never
whole-
wanted to have happy relationships on his shows.
But it was totally unnecessary
Yeah.
to me.
I didn't even feel like the characters were
Exactly.
It wasn't written where I believed that they both felt the way.
Yeah, because
Right.
they've been through
This
worse.
is the episode of Hell's Bells, by the way.
They went through worse, and then for that episode, and then Xander to just walk away from it, it just felt so out of character.
I agree.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, I never really liked Xander that much, but I liked Anya. But the rest of the gang was more, Xander's always been a part of the gang, so I kind of hated that group dynamic. Anya was more on the side now.
Well,
or
and
not even part
especially
of it.
no, she went off to go be a vengeance demon again. She was like, "What am I supposed to do now? I'll go be a demon again."
Yeah, I don't think it was the group shunning her. I think it was her not wanting to be around him and going back to being a vengeance. Because she was hurt.
Right.
Very, very hurt.
She wanted vengeance, but she couldn't do it herself. So and she was looking for somebody to do the vengeance on him, but then nobody wanted it to do vengeance on him. She was like, "Crap." That was a paraphrase. I don't think she really said crap. But
I mean, she really
might have.
she
maybe
could've.
she did. I don't know.
She
Well,
is
crap.
Anya.
That's true.
So I have to say that my most favorite episode of just about all of TV is in this season.
I was gonna go there next because we kind of skirted right over it.
We
but
sure
let's
did.
go. Let's go to it. Go ahead.
Okay, so there was this little thing that Buffy pioneered called a musical episode. And it's Once More with Feeling. And I feel that there's controversy brewing with looks and expressions. But that's okay. I love this episode. I watch this episode without even watching, sometimes I just say, you know what, I'm going to pull out and watch Once More with Feeling without watching all of Buffy. Because it stands alone. And I also listen to the soundtrack from time to time. And I almost tried to karaoke it with Nicholas Brendan, but they didn't have the song I wanted to sing. And somebody else picked the one that they did have. So that happened. Out of place.
I really love the musical episode. It's been a staple on my iPod since the episode aired. Like, I listen to it all the time. I like the villain of the week, Sweet. He was really good, that actor, and I like the choreography and the music, and I just thought it all worked. I mean, a lot of the other musical episodes, like the Flashes this year, they had like
that
two.
Wasn't that bad?
See, no, all this build up of this musical episode, but then there was only a couple songs. It wasn't anywhere near as big or as momentous as the Buffy one was.
No.
So then it felt weaker to me. I think I would have enjoyed the Flash version if I didn't love the Buffy one so much.
Well, the difference, and this is for the Flash podcast, that is probably going to be sometime maybe after this one goes to publication. But the difference between the Flash episode and the Buffy episode, the Flash episode was exploiting the fact that there's a bunch of Broadway stars in the Arrowverse. And basically anybody who's been on Broadway was in that episode and sang a song, and most of them were covers. There were only 2 original episodes, so they didn't have a plot connection, whereas this one was all originally written just for the show by Joss Whedon and directed by Joss Whedon.
I do like the musical episode. I do. I don't know if I'm gonna go with love, because there are other things later in this season that I love way more, but I do appreciate it. I really appreciate that he wrote these, because he's a huge musical theater fan. I appreciate that instead of, like, I don't know, auto-tuning or having other people sing, he had all of his actors sing, even though they're not, I mean, I'm sorry, Allison Hannigan, I love you dearly, but girl,
I think this line's mostly filler.
she just can't sing.
Which she acknowledges.
Which she does acknowledge, and she knows that she can't sing, and still, she put those musical theater pants on and she went for it, and I love that. I think that's awesome, and I think it was really admirable, and I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. I liked the music. I love the twist at the end that we are all thinking it's Dawn and really it's Xander.
That's one of the funniest
It's very
twists.
funny. I do. I like it.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell you this. I think it'll make you upset, but I don't think you can say that it pioneered, because there were ones before it, according to my research. That being said, I think it was the most mainstream one.
Most popular.
But
yeah.
This credits Chicago Hope as having one. Xena had a musical episode.
Xena,
It says
Warrior
it was
Princess
1997.
Oh.
I didn't watch that.
I didn't watch it either, so write in if you did. And Chicago Hope had one called Brain Salad Surgery. I don't know. I didn't watch Chicago Hope.
I mean, technically, so did the Brady Bunch. You know.
Did it move the story along? That's what this is saying. Lots of people had them. Like, I Love Lucy had one, but it wasn't moving the story along, or I guess so. Anyway, I just wanted to say that before people tweeted us complaining. I like musicals a lot. So much.
Pal Joey.
Broadway musicals of the 1930s.
Pajama
game? High button shoes. Pale Joey.
What?
So I enjoy watching almost any musical episode that you can throw at me. That being said, this is not my favorite one. I do remember when it aired, I actually watched it live, and I didn't mean to. I turned on the TV, I just re-looked up the date. It was November 6th, 2001, and I must have just been bored, and I turned on the TV, and it was on, and I watched it, and I was like, what the is happening? Like, is this a new thing? Is everyone going to do musicals now? Because that's really fun. So I do enjoy it, but Nick and I rewatched it recently, and I was like, meh.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know.
I like it. I like some of the songs. I think it actually does something, I don't know how to word it. Other shows that do musical episodes don't do a good job of being a part of the season. And this one, like, The Flash at least did hit a story arc, but this was every single character was having their moments, and if you don't watch the musical episode and you go and watch the next episode of Buffy, you're missing a chunk of a story for almost every single character. I actually think every single character.
Yeah.
It's not quite like that in Scrubs when they do it, or
That
Super
70s show. Or
Yeah.
Supernatural.
I mean, Scrubs is only 22 minutes, so that would have been really hard.
They-
And that's a really good
I kind
one.
of disagree. They do hit a ton of plot points.
They
in
do.
Scrubs one.
I don't know. I feel like Buffy did that better.
I will say,
I
like,
enjoy watching the Scrubs
like Grey's
one.
Anatomy musical doesn't hit a lot of people's plot points.
That's one
It
of
hits
my
it.
least favorite musical episodes.
I actually really enjoy that one.
I enjoy that one too, and I don't like that show. I
think-
like watching the musical episodes of shows as standalone episodes.
I will say I think they did a better job in that one. I know this isn't just about musical episodes, but I think in that one they did a better job of highlighting the people that were really good singers and writing the plot around that. In Buffy, I'm not faulting anybody. Sarah Michelle Gellar is not an excellent singer, but she worked really, really hard and pulled it off I give her 6 out of 10.
Buffy doesn't need to know how to sing.
No, and it was fine. She was acting, and that's the most important. Well, pitch is the most important thing, but second most important thing is acting.
On pitch.
She was. That's why
she's not a belter.
That's what I'm saying. She was on pitch, so that was important. But acting will get you really far if you're not a great singer, people. Tips from Sarah.
I'll say, too, is that I feel like probably female-wise, probably the most experienced and best, not my favorite, but best female vocalist was probably Tara. And what are you supposed to do with her? She's just Tara. Like, she's hardly... she's not Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's not Buffy. She's just Tara. So, like, when you're probably your best female singer is that character, what are you supposed to do with her? So she sang a bunch. She got a lot. And I think it was just because, hey, she can sing. Let's have her sing.
Although I think Emma Caulfield, Anya, did
She's
a
pretty
very
good.
good job.
And then, of course, the men, I mean, far outweighed.
Yeah, the men were pretty solid.
Yeah.
Well, that's because all of them, with the exception of Nicholas Brendan, sing in real life
Right.
outside of the show.
I mean, I have a couple of Anthony Stewart Head's albums, and they're really good.
Yeah, he's really good. Like,
And
so
James Marsters sings in a band.
Oh yeah, Ghost of the Robot is really good too.
And they got, what is his name? The
Played the
famous
villain?
guy. Hinton Battle. What is his name? Yeah, Hinton Battle. That played Sweet.
yeah,
Oh,
He's like a way famous
Yeah.
Broadway
Broadway.
Yeah.
okay.
guy.
Yeah.
So they brought him
So
in.
yeah, he was awesome.
So that was legit.
He's the
His song,
obviously the best
his
one.
song and his exit song are like my favorite in the entire episode.
Right.
And I like
It's
the
okay.
dance he does with Dawn.
And they were creepy looking. So that helped
Yeah.
me to believe that.
Well, I love it. And so there.
I mean, it's one of my
It's
more
enjoyable.
favorite Buffy episodes. Certainly it is. I don't mean to say that. I just mean, like, I don't know why I don't love it. I just don't.
I like it. I don't love it. I like it.
I know for me, it's one of the last musical episodes I've seen of shows, because I'm new to the Buffy-Verse.
Whose fault is that?
I don't know. UPN?
No.
The WB.
The WB.
But I was also going to say that Wentworth Feeling sets up the next episode, which is Tabula Rasa, when Willow does her spell and makes everybody forget.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also one of my favorite episodes of the entire series, because Spike thinks he's Giles' son.
Yeah.
So there are other things that happen too. Buffy's Joan.
That's
Yeah.
a good episode in it.
Was she trying to make everyone forget,
No,
or just Tara?
just
and
Tara,
then
and-
she, yeah, okay. That's what
Her magic addiction, another controversial storyline on the season, but her magic addiction was so bad that Tara had given her an ultimatum: stop doing magic or I'll leave. And it was for 1 week, and instead of honoring that agreement, she decides to cast a memory spell so that her and Tara wouldn't fight.
What a weird ultimatum for the viewer.
Yeah.
Like, I want Willow to do magic, and I don't want Tara
But-
to be there.
For you, you're like, all right.
It's kind of funny on the synopsis. It says how Buffy names herself Joan and Spike takes the name Randy from his coat, and then the rest of the synopsis keeps calling him Joan and Randy for the whole thing. I'm like, who's Joan and Randy?
Well, that's who they were.
Yeah.
Spike says to Giles, Randy, I must have hated you.
Yeah. And the only reason he comes to the conclusion that he's his son is because they both have accents. Is that
Yes.
right? Yeah.
See, and that episode
He's
feels like a
British, too.
companion, because there's another episode of Angel that feels like a companion piece where they're all in the hotel and they revert to like their teenage selves, and it felt very similar, like Angel being Liam.
Yeah, but that's not till season 4, I think. Or is it season 3?
If it's season 3, it's not the first
It's
half.
season 3.
I think it's season 3 because the
It's the
hotel's
second
still
half. It's past where you are. Because now I remember Cordelia's hairstyle in that episode. That's usually how you can tell
And this is-
Angel.
This is the one where they kiss passionately,
Well, they kiss at the end of Once More with Feeling,
and then
Spike
this-
and Buffy.
and then they kiss again, yeah.
And that next one is also, I feel like it's pretty important when it comes to the end and Tara realizes what had happened, and then she leaves Willow, and that brings in Amy.
It does bring in Amy. and it brings in.
My brain
Kallie's
is
so
like,
proud of
And
herself.
that happens in the very next episode,
it's all
Smashed.
coming. Yeah,
Yes.
it's all coming
And
back.
Amy becomes.
When
As
they
we
go
speak
to
about
Rack, I think his name is, who opens Willow's magic door.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can take that however you want. But Smashed and Wrecked are also two very important episodes in terms of advancing the Buffy Spike dysfunctional relationship. Lots of things happen.
Do you think that, like, Elizabeth Ann Allen got a call and was like, hey, you're back on Buffy? And she was like, okay, I'm not a rat anymore. Like, do you think, I don't know.
I don't know.
Just be a fly on the
I feel
wall.
like it would be a little weird for
She was
her, don't
already
you think?
not a rat.
No,
No, it happened.
no, you're
she
right,
turned.
you're right.
She
Come on back, you're not going to be a rat anymore. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This is a weird phone call to get. I just always think of stuff like that for actors that kind of go and then they pop up like one season later, like, hey, are you busy next week because you're not going to be a rat anymore?
What about that episode in season 4 where she was temporarily not a rat? She appeared naked on the bed and then changed back to a rat.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Nobody noticed.
yeah.
Hey, we need you back to be naked for about a 10-second shot. She's probably like, okay, is that the same daily rate? Yeah, I'm coming. I would, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So I feel like I'm naming all of my episodes. One episode
You're
I didn't
naming
like.
a lot of them.
I know. Well, I love this season. One episode I didn't like, though, was Double Meat Palace. I couldn't do
Yeah, it was weird.
It was just a forgettable, like,
Yeah.
I liked it. Because I remembered it.
What did you like about it?
She works at the Double Meat.
Is that all you
She's
remember?
got a weird hat, and it's a chicken. I don't remember a lot of it. Isn't there old people, and all the people are getting eaten? And
All the people are getting eaten.
it's old people, but they're in disguise.
It's one
Just
old
one.
person.
Yeah, it's
One
that
old lady.
Pat Crawford Brown as old lady. She plays that role a lot, I feel like.
Okay.
Well, she was in Sister Act as a choir nun. She pops up from time to time.
I don't remember her.
Well,
Did she have a name in Sister Act?
no, choir nun. She was choir nun.
You look
She's not
old.
Alma checking her battery. I don't know. What
She's
she is.
you guys. She's been in tons of stuff as like landlady, Betty, Pearl, Ruth,
Those are all
Helen,
lady names.
Helen, Aunt Betty, Ethel
She
May
has
Wilson,
a
Gertrude, Thelma,
She's the old lady.
Norma. This is awesome.
Hey,
She's
man, if you've got something working.
yeah.
As long as you're getting
Hashtag
paid.
work.
Shout out Pat Crawford Brown. Hit us up.
But yes, she was. She was.
Yes, she is alive.
Okay.
But she wasn't just the old lady. She was a weird, creepy
She was
head alien.
Being an old lady, yeah.
Demon that came out of her head.
Yeah.
Although you don't think it's her, you think it's the boss.
You
Which
do.
is a weird
the boss
episode
really
for Sarah to
nice?
be like, I like
She
that one. I don't know.
like this episode.
I don't know.
Because it's so gross. I don't know.
It
I
is
don't-
gross.
I don't
The
eat meat.
musical's only mediocre, but I really love the Dolby.
I don't know why. I don't think that this is like a great episode. I just remember it and being amused by it.
Okay, fair enough.
Just because, like, how low must you sink?
Well, she had to get a job.
I know.
She
But
needed
she's the
money.
Slayer.
She dropped
Yeah.
out of college, right? Because she
Yes.
died,
Yeah.
'Cause she
died and
died.
shit.
Yeah.
And
that
then her,
usually leads to dropping out of
Yeah.
college.
and then the house started to fall apart.
Yeah.
Some flooding in the basement or something happened,
Yeah.
and then
And
she
the
had to get a
demons
job.
keep destroying it.
Yeah.
And the life insurance dried up. And Xander could only fix so much. Because by this time, he is a construction dude.
I feel bad for her.
Well, yeah, that sucks.
That's why she'd rather be dead.
She thought she was in heaven. There's a whole line about it.
I know.
Okay.
That episode has the lady from Psych, too. Chief
Mhm.
Vic, yeah.
Which episode?
The double
She's
meat
the
palace.
boss.
Sarah's favorite.
Oh, right! The one at the very end.
And Hal Frick is in this. Kallie Roca. It's got lots of good peeps, guys. I recommend it. Check it out.
Psych has a musical episode. It's not as
Psych.
good as the Buffy one.
Agreed. So let's talk about Dark Willow. Because the magic addiction storyline was very controversial. In fact, when people start slamming this season, that's usually what they come to, is Willow's whole arc that starts with her sort of after-school special addiction to magic. And then ends in her going evil, but there's a trigger for that.
What did people not like about it? How it was
Yeah, that's-
handled, or just the story of it in general? Like, what was the?
Yeah, what's the
why did people
controversy?
hate it?
I think a little of both, if I understand it correctly. They didn't like how the first half of the season was handled, per se, because it It does kind of, like in the episode, and I don't remember, it might be Wrecked actually, the episode where she gets in the car accident with Dawn because she's high on magic, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of critique out there that it's very after-school special-like. And then there's people that don't like the fact that Willow turned evil. And that's because Warren accidentally, because he's aiming for Buffy, but kills Tara and Willow.
With a gun, which is one of the only, like, maybe the only gun things in this series,
probably
right?
ever.
Well, what
of the
about-
whole thing.
Doesn't one of the three, isn't Jonathan in a tower?
Tower,
yes,
but he doesn't
that's a
actually.
pretty
He doesn't.
big gun
He doesn't
thing.
do it though.
Yeah,
I meant
so
like
actual
actual
shouting.
deaths. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else.
This is the only time someone dies
And see, I really like.
that way.
I really love this. How it closes the season. I love the Dark Willow, and I love it mostly because it comes from a very human place. You know, anybody else would just be upset, but because she's got all this power, she's so upset that she just flies off the handle. And I love it. I think it's awesome.
Definitely think it's hard to see a character like for people who really like Willow, to see a character that they've liked for 6 years, even though it was a bad guy, it was one of the human bad guys that she just completely tortures horribly.
She did.
She
Yeah,
skins
she
him
does.
alive. Flays him
But
alive.
she's real bad. She's in a real bad place.
I kind of wonder.
Kelly.
Well,
Do you think that people who have struggled with addiction like that this is bringing addiction to light, or do you think they're like, that's not a real addiction? I just kind of wonder.
In comment forums, because I will hang out on those sometimes, like at the AV Club, before they changed their format. AV Club, not liking it. But when they were still on Discus, basically. A lot of people talked about the people that tend to like this season are the ones that have had the struggles. Depression, like with Buffy. Mm-hmm. Addiction, like with Willow. The sort of struggle for identity that Xander has to go through, where he gets the cold feet and runs away. There's a lot of that stuff that crops up.
Kleptomania.
Yeah, that Dawn has. All the stuff that kind of crops up in this season. People who've experienced it are the ones that tend to like it more.
Okay.
Whereas the ones who haven't experienced it are the ones that are sort of downplaying or thinking that the season is not as successful as, say, seasons 1 through 5.
It's interesting because partially I think, like, addiction to magic, is that real? Like, I don't know. But then partially I think, like, addiction is addiction. You can't help it, and it's a disease, and so I kind of really like it. And then on the other hand, I'm like,
because it's magic, but that's the
Right.
that's the world we're
that's
the world we're in.
That's true. That is the Sunnydale.
But it's interesting that the people who've gone through it, usually you use something as a metaphor so that people who haven't gone through it are brought into it. And it's interesting that it doesn't seem to have resonated in that way.
I mean, for some it has, but for some it definitely hasn't. I remember getting into sort of, not really arguments, but debates about the season because I think it is very compelling. I think the fact that Willow is the character that sort of succumbs to this addiction is also very compelling because she was always sort of the spazzy, nerdy, quiet, intellectual one. And
The good one. She's the good one.
And she's tempted by some of the worst things, whereas the others are not given to this temptation. And I think that's something, that's psychology, that's everyday human nature stuff.
And her grief, what she does is terrible, but think about the person you love the most. If somebody killed them, wouldn't you don't know what you would do in vengeance. I don't know. It's like, we're all horrified by it when we see it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of relatable.
Yeah, I completely agree. And Allison Hannigan is incredible.
Awesome.
Just incredible.
I enjoy her a lot.
Especially when she goes from that normal to that extreme. Ugh.
And probably the other piece about this season that I really love is the fact that the person who ends up saving the day in the end isn't Buffy. It's Xander. Mm-hmm. Because he appeals to her humanity and reminds her of the yellow crayon. In kindergarten. She was very consternated by the yellow crayon. So
Xander saves the world.
he does.
Yeah, I forgot that it was a whole worldwide.
She was going to build a temple and cause the apocalypse yet again. Yet another apocalypse.
Yeah, right.
Apocalypse. We've all been there. Yep, I know him. So I love season 6. Anything else you want to say about season 6?
It was just fun seeing the gang try to, at the beginning, take care of the Hellmouth, basically. Like, without Buffy.
Slaying.
Which they did that once before.
Yeah,
and
they did.
when she left, but it was
that biker gang.
It was it was just on a much bigger scale this time.
And they had a little bit more going for them, like a vampire
and a Buffy bot
and magic.
And magic.
So they could do some
demon?
stuff. What?
Former demon?
Oh, right, former demon. But did she have powers at that point?
No.
I think she was
Anya?
useless. Yeah.
She was useless.
She was just there
Sorry,
to make
Nick.
snarky comments. Sorry.
She's
That's all I
useless.
need.
You really like Anya.
Yeah,
Anya's
she
my
does.
favorite character.
All right. Anything else you want to say about season 6?
It ends with Spike getting a soul. It's a pretty big stinger.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Oh, we were so focused on
Good
Bad
job,
Willow that-
Spikey.
Yeah, Spike decides to go get his soul, and he does. He goes through these trials with some blobby-looking demon dude we never get a clear picture of, and he achieves his soul.
Well, that whole thing, I feel like we don't know what he's doing, right?
We don't know.
Like, it seems, aren't they playing it as if he's trying to get to a point where he can destroy Buffy?
Buffy, yeah.
That's what it seems like, and then it ends with the demon saying, "Here's your soul," and then him screaming.
You want it, your soul, or something like that.
Good
That
call,
is important.
I remember all the Spike stuff, like, perfectly, so,
Is that your favorite character?
yes.
So there you go. Let's talk about season 7.
The final season.
The
Final season.
Unless you count the
Not
comics.
honest.
That's because Joss had the entire season 8 laid out, and so he turned it into a comic book.
He did. They
Okay,
ended the
but-
series. They wanted it.
I'm never gonna read it. I'm sorry. I mean,
No,
books are
I-
awesome, but I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's better off on just where they ended it.
Yeah.
Because,
I
I mean,
think
the
they're
villain...
still making comics.
They are. But they're not based on, like, what Joss originally is. And the season 8 comics, it's okay, but it's nowhere near as good as, like, the TV show.
And I love me some Buffy, and I feel like absolutely it ended where it ended, and I'm fine with that because we got 2 seasons more than we, technically should have. So I'm good with where it
So
ended.
you're saying you're not going to read the comic book?
I don't know, maybe. Who knows? I'm just saying TV-wise, I'm glad they didn't go any further than this.
I mean,
I'm
like,
glad
the
they
comics-
Someone
stopped.
draws Kallie into Sibling Santa.
The comics are just interesting to see, like, what crazy directions they would have went. Because, like, season 8, the villain would have been Skinless Andrew and Amy. Like, she kept him alive after Tara.
Skinless
Warren. Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
I was like, what happened to
Amy, sorry.
Yeah,
Andrew?
why? I just read
I
that
get
on the
there.
trivia. Why?
But yeah.
Amy? That's weird. Why did she care all of a sudden?
Because she randomly hates Willow.
Oh,
She says in the episode, and I don't remember what, I'd have to look, but it's in this season 7. She basically messes with Willow and says when Kennedy confronts her, Willow has all this power and she did all these horrible things and didn't suffer any consequences for it. So I'm here to make her have those consequences.
Oh, good job, Amy.
thanks, Amy.
The killer in me. That's it. That's the
Yeah.
episode.
Oh, yeah. And turns her into... Yeah, yep.
Turns her into Warren.
Warren. Whoa, we jumped right into the middle of this season.
We
didn't
sure did. Let's talk about season 7. So the big bad on season 7. Oh, so we should mention that obviously Tara dies in season 6. Xander and Anya have split up. Buffy and Spike have this highly sexual tryst that then ends with the attempted rape. And they split
Rapey,
away.
as Sarah says.
Yes.
It got rapey, y'all.
It did
It
get
did
rapey.
get rapey. So then we go into season 7 where really nobody's in a relationship place as the season starts, but there gets to be some reconciliations and a new relationship. And the big bad in season 7, the final big bad, is the first. What did we think of this season?
The first evil.
The first evil.
Not the first Slayer.
No.
Because that tripped me up for a while, and I was like, what?
What's the first? The first what? Yeah.
The
it's
first evil.
Which has
evil
actually
that
been
came
in the show
before all
before when it was controlling Angel in the 3rd season, I think.
Yes.
It also cropped
Correct.
up earlier in Buffy, too.
That's what he's saying. In
No,
the
that's what I'm
third
saying.
season.
In the 3rd season of Buffy,
Oh, okay.
it starts to like mess with Angel's head.
Yes, it does. So the first comes back. But at this point, the first is looking like lots of dead people, which we start
And
seeing
Nathan
a lot with.
Fillion.
And Nathan Fillion, who I love.
Not till the end of
Sorry,
the season.
we're
People
jumping
just
ahead.
keep
Sorry.
jumping around.
I just a season as a whole, especially as a last season, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I did. I liked it. I dug it.
It was tainted by all the other Slayers.
Yeah,
Or the potential
that's
Slayers.
the huge weak point for
That's
me. Is I don't like
okay.
the potential.
Was
I liked
It
the
was.
idea of it. I don't know
Kallie.
if everybody felt like it read, but I liked the idea of
They
it.
were both, as a group of people, they were ridiculously scared and annoyed with Buffy for not.
But they needed them. They needed
Did
them
they?
to fight. Yes, they did.
Let's
Not
say that
only-
final episode, you don't really see any of the potentials doing any of the heavy lifting.
They do enough,
doing
though.
something.
They are doing, and they needed. Not only did they need their power. Well, of course, we're skipping way ahead, but they needed the numbers. They needed those girls. They
Yeah.
needed people, bodies. They needed them. Did you see that pit, the cave in the pit with all the?
I saw it, Kallie,
Bad
but they don't have to write them to be annoying.
I'm sorry, they were annoying. They were a bunch of teenage girls. What do you expect? I mean, teenage girls are
have
annoying.
to agree that I do not like the potentials.
Yay.
This is a weak point for me too, and why season 7 does not ring as one of my favorites. And the one I'm most annoyed by, ironically, is Kennedy. I do not understand.
I
other
blocked
than
out all
maybe-
their names.
Oh, Kennedy's the one
Yeah.
that ends up with Willow, and I don't understand why that happens. Because she's a real big swing from Tara. I don't really understand it.
I can't even picture Kennedy.
brunette.
Yeah, she's the
Cute,
one who
little-
describes herself as a brat.
She's
Okay.
the rich
Rich
parents
girl.
mansion.
Although their relationship is pioneering, this is pioneering because this is in fact the truth, that the first ever lesbian sex scene was Buffy between the two of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Willow and Kennedy.
Should we go back to the beginning? Like, we just went straight to the end.
We did. So,
like
there's
you
a
did
lot
that.
of getting
I don't think it was
potentials.
my fault. Was it my fault? It might have been my
Everybody's
fault.
jumping around. Except Sarah, she's quiet.
I don't like everything that's been said. I don't remember their names. I don't remember what they look like. I just remember how annoying they were.
Yeah.
And then they just kept coming and more of them. And we kept thinking, when is this madness going to end? And it did not.
Even Felicia Day, and this is when we get to see Felicia Day for one of the very first times, her character is quite annoying as well.
They're
Yeah.
annoying.
I don't know who Felicia Day
Felicia
is.
Day was on Supernatural. She was.
Yeah,
She
didn't
watch
watch
Supernatural.
that.
Oh.
Who
She
does
just
she
watched
play?
She was in.
Vi, I think. She plays Vi. She's the
Buffy?
redhead.
Gosh, I'm not seeing
Felicia
it.
Day's known for the Guild,
The Guild.
the
That's her
internet
big
show
thing.
that became a huge.
I just bye Felicia.
And she does.
I don't need it.
Alright.
The new Mystery
Oh.
Science Theater.
Is she on
Yeah,
that?
she
Yeah, she's the
is.
mad.
And she
Oh.
does tabletop with Will Wheaton sometimes.
She's a hero amongst nerds.
She
Yes.
is a nerd hero.
I feel like it's
And she's
Her and
a
Will
Dr.
Wheaton.
Horrible sing-along blood.
because she's cute.
I don't know what that is.
Wow, you guys, really?
I know what it is. I just haven't seen.
Wow. All
I'm
right.
sorry.
So I agree that they were annoying,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I would agree that they weren't kind of necessary. I feel like it tied the whole end together. Most of them died anyway. I mean, it's true.
You jumped to the end.
Sorry, it is me. Nick's right, it is me.
Well,
In
my
the first
fault.
one, so does nobody? How the first evil? How do we see them? Is it
Dead
just?
people.
As dead
So, like,
people.
But
Joyce.
is that only in the first one episode?
Glory was
No.
one of
No,
them.
it's still like the first half of the season.
Yeah,
Okay.
you see, there he's the first.
like-
He is sprinkled through the first 6 episodes, but he fully makes his presence known in conversations with dead people. When there's that girl that dies, she psychically predicts her death and then dies, and then comes back and talks to Willow.
I like that actress, and I never remember her name.
What is the what?
Joyce comes back to talk to Dawn.
Oh,
Azura
right.
Sky.
Yes.
Azure Sky. Yeah. Cassie.
Cassie,
Yes,
that's right.
That was a really
But
good
you
episode
don't know
too.
she's dead then when she comes back, right?
You don't know.
She's
You
dead
do.
by that time. You just don't know if she's her.
There's another thing that happens where one of the potentials dies. And
Yeah.
then you see her again, but we don't know she's
No,
dead.
not
She
until
dead.
the end. Yeah,
I don't remember that
somebody-
potential's name. She's Southern.
the blonde Southern one
Mhm.
where they got to her before right off the bus,
Right.
and then the
Yeah.
first
The
two
Lydia,
Lydia,
numbers.
is it Lydia?
Maybe.
Maybe
No, Lydia's got brunette. She's brunette. She does die later.
She blonde now.
They all die. Most of them die.
Not all of them die.
Eventually.
Survive a little bit and stuff. But yeah, no, that's how the first. So yeah,
Eve.
That's
Molly.
it.
Okay.
Eve is the one.
Eve, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Felicia Day. Yeah, I know her.
Oh, wow. She must have see a picture.
I did. I needed to see a picture.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
got, yeah.
She played Vi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Conversations with Dead People. That's when the first really comes into hyper focus. Appears to Robin, the principal.
We should talk about him, too.
His wife was a...
Mama.
His mother was
His
a
mother.
slayer.
His mother was the Slayer.
It's where Spike got his other coat.
Spike
Yeah,
killed her.
that's one of
Spike
the
killed
two that
that
Spike
ninja.
killed.
Okay.
Took her coat.
And her name, I forget what her name.
Nikki?
Nikki, that's right. Nikki
Wood.
So Robin, yeah, the principal of New, because they rebuild the high school, Sunnydale High, and Buffy gets a job.
As a
counselor.
guidance counselor. Hey, just anybody who's watching thinking, oh, I can just go be a guidance counselor. You actually need a master's degree to do that job, just letting y'all know.
Yeah.
Buffy did
But he
not
knew
have
she
a
was
master's.
a Slayer and he fudged her paperwork.
Yeah,
That's what happened.
That was the big plot twist, was that he knows everything that's going on.
Right, because his mom was a Slayer, and he's hunting Spike. Basically, is his
Yes.
purpose.
Yeah.
So he brought Buffy into the school to do that job because he knew who she was.
Well, also the school was over the Hellmouth, and he knew that was percolating again, so he thought keeping a Slayer close was the right way to go.
I mean, he's probably not wrong. I just thought it was irresponsible.
It is. It's
We need to let
unprofessional.
we need to let the kids know that are listening that you...
You can't just randomly become a
No,
guidance
you
counselor.
can't...
He could have given her
Janitor?
gym teacher, janitor.
Lunch late gym teachers need to...
What?
Yeah. Lunch lady?
I'm saying if he's fudging something, she's pretty athletic, and I think she would do a good job of it. She's guiding people in this season.
Yeah.
That is very irresponsible.
I think maybe
That's how you end
like
up
a
with Lawrence.
school secretary. Those people are great, by the way.
Administrative support.
Uh-huh. At my school, they don't mind being called secretaries.
Well, some people.
Some people do. I don't, whatever.
I understand
Paraprofessional education.
Kallie, are you agree?
Yeah. I mean, as soon as Nick said that's irresponsible, yes, it is.
She did help some of the
She
troubled
did,
teens.
she
Well,
tried.
she's very sympathetic, yes. I don't know why I get so... It doesn't matter, guys.
So, I mean, I remember watching it and I was like, how is she even remotely qualified?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not.
She's not. That's the
Well,
answer.
but she had really cute business casual clothing, though.
She did.
She looked real cute as a guidance
Buffy's
counselor.
fashion in this season was
very on point.
Really, I think the whole thing
Yeah.
pretty much was on point. I mean, for the time.
yes.
Mhm. I think.
Although I would wear
fashion
some of the
wise.
clothes she wore in the 7th season now.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
don't
for
know if
sure.
that's a
I
thing.
wish I could afford those clothes.
I know, right? That's the question. The
I know.
house is falling apart, and where
She's
does she have a shopping?
I'm pretty sure UPN had deals with like advertisers, and they got to pick
No,
all
I
that
mean
stuff.
Buffy, the
She's
character.
actually
How
I'm just
does
saying.
she have money to
Where
go
did she get the
shopping?
clothes?
After she dusted a vampire, she took their clothes?
Maybe.
Well, some of those vampires were fashion victims because they were old.
They'd come right out of the grave, and she just...
That's right.
It was their funeral best.
That's
Oh, her conversation with the dead person was with the psych major vampire who was new, who then later became a character on Angel, which you'll find out. And he's played by Jonathan Woodward.
I don't know who Jonathan Woodward is by his
You
name.
will. You'll be like, hey, that was the guy on Buffy when you get there. And it's very weird because this season happens right before the season in which he reappears. So it's like, come on, guys, it's just too lazy.
So when all those...
What season of Angel is happening while season 7 of Buffy is happening?
Season 4.
Oh, okay.
The end of season 4 corresponds with the beginning of season 7 of Buffy. That's where the amulet comes from that Spike wears. It comes from the end of season 4 of Angel.
Strike that, reverse it a little bit.
Season 3 and 6 air at the same time. 3 of Angel, 6 of Buffy.
Right.
Is what this says.
Yeah, that's correct.
So then, doesn't season 7 air during season 4
yes, it
of
does.
Angel?
And the amulet comes in at the end of season 4 to Angel, who brings it to Buffy. You'll find out.
Yes, I get what you're saying.
And
I thought you meant
comes
at the
back
beginning.
in season 5 of
Yeah.
Angel. So the amulet has a through line.
So the world is ending at the end of season 7 of Buffy.
Yes, and
And then
Sunnydale, right.
That's just contained to Sunnydale.
Well, as of the end of the series, yeah.
It looks pretty bad. Like, I feel like we get an aerial view, but... Alright.
It starts in... I think the intention is, yes, the world, but it's starting in Sunnydale, so that's what
that
you're
is one of the
getting.
I'm interested to see how it affects LA in season 5 of Angel.
There you go.
I guess we have to finish that show.
So
it gets better.
I didn't.
So
that wasn't my aspersion. I just.
She's like, assignments, man. Homework's hard.
Well, this week's been hard. We've been doing a lot of these podcasts,
That's
so we haven't
true.
been home.
You're having lots of fun. Hooray!
where are we in this season now?
We were talking about Conversations with Dead People, which is season 7. But really, a lot of this is the potentials coming to town, and Robin suspecting Buffy, suspecting Robin, and everything. And it doesn't really pick up. And there's a huge crossover that happens with Angel in this season 2 because of stuff that happens on Angel that I'm not going to spoil for you.
Thanks.
Except for one of them has to be spoiled. They break Faith out of prison.
Oh, yeah, because she shows back here. Remember that.
Yeah, Faith
Hi,
comes
Faith.
back.
She goes back to she's a Slayer. They need her, so she's there.
Yeah, they
So
need
they-
her help.
Yeah.
But
This is
she's
the same
so
episode.
mellow at this point.
It's
It's
the
like
same
one
episode
episode
Caleb
Angel?
is in.
Yes, this is the first one where we see Caleb, right?
And
Yes.
I
Played by Nathan Fillion.
love him.
I mean, he
I love
plays a
him.
misogynistic, devil-worshipping preacher, but I love Nathan Fillion.
I do too. I think he's
Well,
awesome.
And like, if it wasn't for he was getting ready to quit trying to act, and Joss Whedon gave him this
'Cause
job,
this was
and
right
then like
after
look at.
Firefly got canceled.
Oh, Fire...
No, this was after.
That's what I said.
Oh, is
Right,
that Firefly?
right after
No, Firefly's after this because
No,
he's
it's
so.
not. Firefly came out in 2002. This season is 202 to 203.
I could have swore he was Caleb first.
I
and then-
bet you $100.
I'm not saying you're wrong. That's
It's
my
right over
memory of
here
it.
if you want me to pull it out. I
Yeah,
can
no,
Google it.
2002, 14 episodes, they canceled. And what happened was he went to Buffy, Gina Torres went to Angel, and played
Yeah.
Jasmine.
Oh, really? She's like my least favorite on that show.
that season is it's hard to get through.
I forgot Rachel
Oh, yeah, that's
Bilson
rough.
was in this too. She's one of those girls, right?
The Potentials?
Yes.
Who's Rachel Bilson? Sorry.
Did you ever watch like The OC? Is probably what she's most known for, but
Have you met me?
then she just did a show called I think Heart of Dixie where she was a doctor. I mean, I don't
maintain
watch
my
these shows
position.
either, but she's like a way famous actress. It's not unreasonable for me to think that you might know who she is.
Well, I don't. Who did she play?
She was one of the potentials.
One of the potentials.
Which?
Colleen.
Anyway, back to season 7.
back to Nathan and Caleb and the whole. He's bad.
Yeah, he's like the penultimate emissary of the Furs. The last thing before they have to go and kill the Turicons, which are the vampires
The
without
Uber-vamps,
human...
right?
Uber-vamps, yep.
And then that's the episode where Xander gets his eye gouged out, right?
Yes.
Which was very disturbing and unexpected. Like,
It
at this
was.
point in the show, you don't really expect something that graphic to happen to, like, one of the main characters.
This says it's because Joss Whedon wanted to kill Xander in this episode and then have him appear as the first for the remainder of the season. But he decided against it because Xander was the only character who never wavered in his loyalty. And so it didn't leave enough time for them to deal with his death. So then he just settled for getting his eye gouged out. Thanks, Joss
Oh.
Whedon.
And I can't kill him. I'll take his eye.
That's like killing Lupin and Tonks because she didn't want to kill Mr. Weasley in the last minute.
I know.
Doesn't
But
make
I guess
sense.
when you're the writer, you can do what you want.
It's
I know,
true.
but I do feel like he just does things. Joss Whedon just does things. I guess I already know I'm wrong, but Anya dies, and I feel like, oh, we need to kill someone off in the last episode.
Yeah.
But the actress, wanted to be killed off, so I guess that's not his fault.
Yeah, why did she want to die?
But it felt exactly like
It felt
how
unnecessary.
What's-His-Face dies in the movie in Serenity.
Wash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it happens and it's
shock
done.
and then move on.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
And I don't care for that, especially when both of those are characters I really like.
Jaws does have a habit, and I can say this is true of most everything he's ever created, with the exception of Dr. Horrible, of killing off a beloved character.
You know who I don't care if they die?
She lives.
I know.
He could have killed Buffy off and I would have been fine with it, because I didn't mind the show
Yeah, but
ending
they
at
already
Buffy's
did
death.
that. They tried that. It didn't
Yeah.
stick. So
I feel like if they had killed Faith off instead of Anya, it would have been more fitting for her arc to die saving the world than the random.
Well, the thing I hated about Anya's death is she was helping. Which one of the three was with them at the end? I can't remember. the name.
Andrew.
Like him rise to the occasion, and I thought he was gonna die doing something good. And instead, I just found it an annoying twist instead of a, ooh, I didn't see that coming. It was just, oh, he should have died, and she should have. But I'm biased.
at the same time, the reason why I think her character was selected is because she went to such a dark place with the vengeance demon thing. So I think the idea was to, basically give her some redemption. by
Yeah,
dying
she
a
did
hero.
die doing something good. She was,
Well,
yeah.
I think she literally said she just did not want to move to Angel, so she'd rather die.
Which is
Which is
ridiculous because there was only one person permanently went to Angel
Spike.
and then there was only one other appearance.
Unless you count Harmony.
Oh yeah, Harmony.
Or Cordelia and West.
Yeah, so a lot of them
Well,
went
but they
over.
were already established. I mean, as far as leaving Buffy and ending up on Angel at that point of time.
Seems to qualify. What else about season 7?
So,
Well, what did you think about the series end?
Yeah, I just really didn't like Anya dying, so that's a bad.
he has clearly issues about it because
I do.
Anya died.
Uh-huh.
He
Yeah,
has a crush on her.
just
Sure.
a little bit.
It's fine.
I
She has a better body than me.
I think it's.
Oh no,
Sarah.
It's her job too, so it's fine. I mean, I look good, but I'm just saying, she looks really good.
I don't know how to react. I'm so confused.
Just agree with me. It's not.
I
I'm not
agree.
asking for validation. I'm just stating a fact.
Okay.
I personally like the way it ended. I liked that they went out fighting and that they basically saved the world again. Yes, there were casualties, but I feel like it was a good end. I liked season 5's ending better.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because that's what was supposed to happen. And this felt like, well, we gotta do something. So let's... And destroy the Hellmouth, basically, which is what they did.
And Spike got to be the hero.
Spike got to be the hero.
So to set this up a little bit, they find that sword. That's what Caleb is protecting in the vineyard. The sword that a really old woman that kind of looked like the old woman in Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade is protecting the sword.
She did look like that.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right? And was in a similar type of surrounding.
Yeah.
But that's okay. The sword, which then Willow magically imbues, it's meant for the Slayer, but Willow transfers that power to all of the potentials.
You mean that battle axe thingy with the spike at the end?
Oh yeah, whatever. Axe sword.
They call it a
Sharp,
scythe
pointy
in this,
scythe.
which it is not. But whatever.
But they transfer the power to the potentials all over the world, but of course the ones in Sunnydale making them all Slayers, so they're no longer potentials. At the same time, Angel brings the amulet over from LA, thinking he's going to be the champion and help Buffy. And Buffy, they kiss, and this makes Spike very jealous. And Buffy basically says, no, I need you in LA. Go back there. What if this gets beyond Sunnydale? And decides that Spike is the one who should be wearing the amulet, which emits some sort of sun glow, which torches everything in the Hellmouth. Basically, and the entirety of Sunnydale. The crater you see is Sunnydale, and it's a crater.
Sunk, yes. They
Because the sign falls into the crater.
And don't they say something like, I think there's that Hellmouth in Ohio?
Yeah,
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah. That's in Ohio.
Clearly, there's one in Cleveland. Just kidding. We all want to flee to the Cleve.
Like the
Thank you,
state of
listeners
Indiana.
from Cleveland, if you're listening. Cleveland rocks. Anybody?
No one can see your thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Cleveland. Hello. I like that song from 30 Rock. Anyone? No one?
Yes.
Different podcast.
It's a
It
different
is.
podcast.
It is. We gotta do that one. I quote it way too much.
So what did we think of... Kallie shared her opinion.
Yes,
well,
I
I guess... I don't know. I mean, Spike. Come on.
So they stopped the Hellmouth from spreading? What did they accomplish?
They
All the
were
uber vamps were going to like come out
coming
of that
out.
hellmouth and
And
like
they
kill
prevented them
everybody.
from coming out.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
They leveled
And
the whole town.
the rest of Sunnydale evacuated.
Well,
Yes.
we hope so.
Otherwise, they did a
They
shitty
did.
job.
And those people are dead because
Let's
the
just
whole
hope they got out. I can't go to bed.
They were
tonight.
They got out.
evacuating
They
in
got
that
out.
one episode.
Yes.
Okay, well that's good.
There might have
'Cause-
been some casualties.
because
and lots of people died, like
No, but the
Slayers.
second to last episode, Buffy's sleeping in abandoned houses. Like,
Yeah, so they're
when they
mostly
kick her out of
gone.
the gang for a minute.
But I feel like people stayed behind.
I mean, babe, there's always going to be those people, but it didn't. It's not real, so we can. It's gonna.
Okay.
You know.
Most of them were probably addicted to magic and just couldn't leave the hellmouth.
There you go.
So Spike dead, right?
Spike
We
is
think
dead.
Spike's dead.
But he's really not, right?
But if you click on
Well, he is
the
dead, but he
angel
comes back.
icon,
yeah.
it's
can't-
Angel and Spike.
I mean, dead is a relative term, but as far as we are concerned at this moment, he did.
Yes.
He's always undead.
He's dead. On
He's
his
re-dead. He's re-dead.
Who else is dead? Most of the
Which, if
potentials
you've
are
seen
dead.
the early seasons of Angel, he fulfills that whole vampire with a soul stopping the apocalypse prophecy. So then it sets up something
Yeah,
interesting.
We
with
didn't even
Angel.
talk about him with his soul and his craziness.
Well, I liked how they did that. He wasn't like back to being just normal. Like he
was
the
crazy.
weight of everything he did shattered him, which I thought was a really good.
Yeah,
way to
he
do
was literally mental. He couldn't even put together cohesive sentences. He was gone.
Well, I love that episode where he's in the church just rambling, and like she says to herself, "You have your soul back," like because she realizes. Like that episode was really good.
And he
they're
drapes
like-
himself over the cross.
Yeah.
They're real sweet and romantic at parts. It's real nice.
He's not rapey anymore.
No,
He's
it's a
not. He has a
little
soul.
weird that she kind of just got over that, but I guess it's a TV series, so I'm gonna let
Well,
it go.
it wasn't right away.
That's true, but
And she also recognized that he was totally changed. I mean, I think this is one of James Marsters' best parts of his performances playing this character is showing the transition
I
to
mean,
the souled Spike.
you know I love Angel so much, but I just think she belongs with Spike.
Oh.
I agree with
I
that.
always said that. I always said that. I love Angel, not the series. I love the character Angel. I've liked the series fun. But I don't think that Buffy and Angel belong together.
No,
I
I
think she can be happy. She found happiness with Spike.
I agree with that. Like at the beginning for the first couple of seasons or whatever, it was fine.
Yeah.
But it was like 16, 17-year-old romance.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
feel
kind
that.
of like people's first love.
Yeah.
Like they always remember it, and it's important to who they were, but it's almost never who they end up with.
Right. Yes, that's exactly what it is. I agree with that.
Yeah, man, we're deep.
We are deep.
And, the end of this is the very famous Dawn. What are we going to do now? And Buffy's like,
She just smiles.
get a pizza and a pedicure. I don't know. Not worry about everyone else. I mean, she doesn't say that, guys. I think that's the subtext there.
Well, what is said is Faith basically says, so B, what are you going to do now? You're not the only one. And all she does is smile, because that's what she's wanted the whole time. She hated being the only Slayer, or the only sane one, if you count Faith.
Is Faith going to go back and do her time? Come on.
Unknown.
Probably not.
Probably not.
She got away with it,
Is
man.
Faith now
Yeah.
in season 5 of Angel?
No.
She's
No.
not.
That made Nick so
But she is
happy.
in season 4.
I know, yes.
Yeah.
Well, they're also, she ends up going to, what's that series called?
Dollhouse.
Dollhouse.
No, before Dollhouse.
I had it.
It wasn't a Josh show.
No,
Oh.
it's gone.
No, that was after Dollhouse, that True Calling.
That was after Dollhouse?
No, that was before.
Was it
Yeah,
before?
I was
Oh.
pretty sure.
That's the one you're thinking of.
I didn't watch either, so.
That one got canceled. Dollhouse was good.
It was good. It was a bummer that got canceled. She was so good in that show. Like, really, you would actually like her in that show.
That's
I
where
don't find
I
her to
promise
be
you.
an untalented person. I just...
You don't
You
like
didn't
the
like
character
the
of Faith.
Yeah,
No.
She's
and she's
nothing
supposed
like
to be
Faith in
unlikable.
Dollhouse. You should watch it. It's only one season. Two seasons? One season.
Once-
Dollhouse is two.
I'm
Two.
not entirely sure isn't her performance that I hate.
I like her in Bring It On.
That's right, she is.
She's good in Bring It On, too.
I'm saying.
The sequel?
You would probably... No, the first one. You would like Dollhouse. I think you would.
I don't even know what it's about. A dollhouse?
Sort of. It's complicated.
Okay.
It's a high concept.
But it's
It's
only
high
two. It's only
concept.
2 seasons. You can watch it. You can handle it.
I love browbeating Nick and
I know, right?
shows.
There's just so
That has
much
been
to watch.
There's so many shows.
And Dollhouse has been requested as a podcast too. Like
I really-
basically all the Josh shows.
Yeah,
are.
I would do that one. I really liked that show. Like, really a lot. I was really bummed when it got canceled.
Yeah,
Like,
And you, the listener, can join in.
that's true.
Hit us up at insert platform here.
Twitter.
Contact us. Tweet us. Facebook us. Find us on Stitcher Radio, iTunes,
good job, Sarah.
and your favorite podcast platforms.
Thumbs up.
Bye-bye.
Good job, Sarah.
We're not done yet. We're not
I
done.
got confused.
Nick, I'm gonna fire you. Anything else you want to say about season 7 or Buffy the Vampire Slayer in general?
I mean, thank you.
I love this show. It will remain for forever one of my all-time favorite television series.
Wow.
Yes.
Also me.
I mean, I have a lot of favorites, but this really, this is up there. I would say probably top 5.
Also me.
Top 5.
I'm going to put it in my top 30.
Okay,
Oh.
that's fair.
But I like real old stuff, so.
It's true.
She's a Trekkie, y'all.
Yes.
There are others in the room.
There's nothing wrong
But
with
she's
that.
a converted
else is.
Trekkie.
I'm like the only
You're
one
the
that's not.
only non-Trekkie.
Well,
Can you
then.
move in here and live with me and Nick, and then we can watch stuff like Dollhouse together, and then you can watch Trek stuff with us? I think you'd enjoy
Yeah,
it.
because when Sarah and when we shared the hotel room together, I was allowing.
She watched some Star Trek
I
with
was
me, you
watching
guys.
Star Trek.
I was allowing.
I was allowing it to happen.
I feel like I should say we were at a theater conference. We didn't just get a room together.
Yeah.
Like, it sounded a little bit like
Yeah.
we
They are friends in real life.
There was
We
a
are.
reason for
We are.
them.
So much
But
to
I
edit
mean-
out.
Well, when you say it.
You could leave that in.
Watch.
I did.
There was some next gen. And
I did.
She didn't.
I mean,
hate
it happened, and I wasn't
serious.
like, Sarah, I'm not watching this. I was like, yeah, sure, let's check it out, man.
Your husband also watched that show.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, and he's a huge nerd.
He's not going to
I
listen.
hope he's listening.
He's probably not going to. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Anything else you want to say about season 7
Season 7, Kyle?
or Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
I liked it. It's a great prelude. It's a great prelude to the 5th season of Angel, which is like one of my all-time favorite seasons of any television show ever. So
Oh, bold words.
Do you like the show Angel more than the show Buffy?
overall, yes, because I like the core
Shit.
cast. Of it. Well, in season 5 of Angel's really good.
Okay, alright.
Season 5 of Angel is the best season of
I am enjoying season 3 thus far. I have said much more than the other 2.
It has a better villain.
Well, I don't know if I'm there yet.
Holt, the vampire.
Nope, not there.
Okay.
Yeah,
No more
that's
spoilers.
after their-
I thought he showed up in a cameo in a flashback episode.
Holtz. It's Holtz,
Oh.
actually.
Not the guy from the past that came back to kill the...
Yep.
Yes. This is the villain that was trying to kill Angel, and now he's going to try to kill Angel's baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
That
know his
actor's
name.
really good.
Well, we'll talk about you when we get to Angel, but yes.
That will be
Yeah.
episode 5 of the series.
We're very funny. We're like, today we're all over the
We
place.
are.
We're weaving in and out. It's crazy.
So
We're not
I
usually like
asked
this.
I like the show Buffy. I can't put it on a list. I can't even do a top 30. I just don't know where it is in my life.
I'll be honest with you. I think that y'all collectively watch way more TV than I do, though.
That's true.
So but this is in
way
your top
more.
5, did you say?
Yeah, but so that's
It's a smaller
equivalent.
thing.
That's
You only
equivalent.
watched
To,
7 shows?
that's probably equivalent to Sarah's top 30.
Well,
I know,
to
I'm
be
just saying I
fair,
can't.
I watch a bazillion shows
You
because
do.
I started this podcast, and this is in my top 5.
We're doing a podcast?
I know! Crazy!
Oh God, that was real
top 30,
quick.
though.
That was
I
good.
don't actually have a list. I'm just saying if somebody asked me to start ranking, it's probably in my top 30, but I don't.
I mean, honestly, this one, The X-Files and Game of Thrones are probably my
Game
top
of
3.
Thrones. I love.
You like
I
Game of
love. I
Thrones?
love Game of Thrones
Alright.
so much.
That's weird.
Really,
I love-
I think you need to give it a chance, but that is for the Game of Thrones podcast, which we already do. Is there anything
Oh,
else
you
you
do?
want to say?
Thank you, Joss Whedon.
Thank you.
Bon voyage, Buffy Summers.
I'm indifferent about Joss Whedon's existence.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
Nick,
That's hard.
come on. He's brought so much good to the world.
Has he?
Yes.
She's delivered that with such conviction.
You
She
like
did-
Firefly
I
and
did like
Serenity.
Firefly.
There you go.
That is Joss Whedon.
I know one show that I really liked.
That's okay. I
did watch the
enjoy
Avengers,
him.
and I enjoyed that. That was him, right?
I enjoy some Buffy.
I
love me some Buffy.
Joss has made some poor personal choices we found out in the past year, but he makes some great TV, and that's what I'm all about.
Well,
Can't have it all.
I mean, but more than any other filmmaker, he's the best at having an ensemble, like movies like The Avengers and Buffy, and giving each character something meaningful to do, and not just be background noise.
I agree. He's a great storyteller.
And doesn't he do Shakespeare in his house?
Yes.
Yeah.
It became Much
With all
Ado
his
About
friends.
Nothing,
Yeah.
which is it was on Netflix. Nathan Fillion played.
A character in that.
Benedict?
No, that was Alexis Denisov. He played Benedict. Wesley. And
He's not good looking enough to pull that off, I don't think.
And Amy Acker, who plays Fred,
Amy
played
Acker?
Beatrice.
I will not be watching that.
It's not my favorite, actually, of the stuff he's done. But anyway, this won't be the last time we talk about Buffy. Actually, when we return for our final episode in this series, which will cover Angel seasons 3 through 5, we're also going to go over the lists of your favorite and least favorite episodes of Buffy and of Angel. So that will be kind of the final word on our Buffy Angel series, similar to what we did with the X-Files series. But at this time, I think because we're loopy and we've gone all over the place, we're going to sign off.
You're
Yes?
Yes.
Let's
do it.
We're
Don't
crazy
be
tonight.
hostile, Nick.
He's just mad Anya's dead.
That's
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's a wound that will never heal.
That's some deep psychological scarring. CPU is produced by Back Pocket Productions, run by your truly the Chief Couch Potato and hails from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Please, if you like what you hear, please do take the time to rate us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, those things that Sarah mentioned earlier. Leave a comment, give us some stars, we can spread the word. I think people are learning, but, we can keep spreading the word. That's what we want. If you have suggestions and shows we might consider, contact us at our website, couchpotatonunite.wordpress.com, via email at couchpotatonunitepodcast@gmail.com, or the social media. Though we add new and old shows to chat about around the water cooler all the time. We have more new episodes coming down the pipe. We always do. Subscribe to any of these channels, our blog, our social media, to stay up on new events and episodes. You can find old CPU episodes by searching the web or at our website. If you want to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the current platform streaming-wise is Hulu, because Netflix gave it up because they're getting all hoity-toity. But Hulu's picking up all the shows that Netflix discards. So find yourself over to Hulu. Or you can buy DVDs. That's up to you. Otherwise, as we said, or as I said, we will return to this series one final time to discuss Angel seasons 3 through 5, our top 10 best and worst lists for these two series. Until next time, until our next Looking Back podcast episode. And remember, new episodes are published every Wednesday. Keep listening, keep watching, stay tuned. Bye-bye.